Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Looks like we have lots of people already joining us. I want to say hello to everybody. It looks like we have Courtney, we have Angel, we have Cassandra, Emily, Elizabeth, Tammy, Yvette, Chris, Fu. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Fu, RSA, and Lisa, and lots more even than that. So thank you so much for joining us. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this one so much. I worked really hard on it. It was a combination of a lot of different tools that kind of put together. And hello, Tara. Hi, Tamaya. So glad you guys are here. So this is going to be our last support group on Crowdcast. We'll be moving to Zoom and we'll be sending out emails probably close to May whenever we have that information. We're actually working on the website right now and all the changes that it takes to move those over. I started setting up Zoom invites. It's a little different. It's going to be Zoom webinar, so it'll be a lot like we're doing here. There'll be a chat box. Nobody will be on camera. It'll be just simply just giving you guys the information and allowing you to chat back. I hope you like that format. Hi, Tara. Hi, Jennifer. Hey, Heather. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining. I love this. So we're going to just jump right in and we're going to get started because this one here is just fun. So we've been talking a lot about change, and I developed this one here because this last year, when we started the new year, I did a couple support groups on habit change. And the first one I did was kind of like thinking about what you need to change and how to go about it. And the second one was actually implementing the change. And those were 2 months apart. I did two different groups for different facilities. And are you guys hearing an echo? I can turn my microphone down a little bit. Maybe that'll help. I'm not sure. See if that helps. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Plugging everything in, making sure I don't have anything else open. Okay. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. But what I found is that even for myself, because there was some things that I was wanting to implement as far as change, I found like, the habits were there and the patterns were pretty strong. And even though I had a desire to change, there was things that I was just kind of hesitant on changing for whatever reason. Like I was just going back to my old ways. And so I wanted to do something really spectacular for you guys and things that's really helped me in the past. So for those of you who may be new to this forum, I'll kind of introduce myself and tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Brenda. I'm a nurse that has worked in the healthcare field for a good while, probably about 30 years. I worked in the emergency department for about 20 years in all different roles. And that was a very busy time of my life. Those are long shifts and very chaotic, but I learned a lot. You learn a lot as you go. And then I started doing some quality management, and then I got into bariatrics. Now I've been in the bariatric field for about 10 years. I worked for a bariatric surgery clinic in Missouri, and we did thousands of surgeries in that program. I was the coordinator. In the beginning, it was just me and the surgeon, and our program grew and grew. And then COVID hit, and some changes happened. So basically my role changed, and I just decided to reach out to ProCare because I had an ongoing relationship with them. ProCare is who's sponsoring this event. They're a bariatric surgery vitamin company. If you've not tried them, we'll talk about them in a little bit, but they're amazing. And we sold their vitamins out of our clinic. We actually sold, I think, 3 or 4 different brands of vitamins, different companies, but ProCare by far was our patient's favorite and became my favorite too as well. I had bariatric surgery back in 2013. It's been life-changing for me. I had the VSG, and so that's been my journey. Seeing patients, working in the clinic, learning from them, my own journey. Also, what you're going to find is the information I'm bringing in is a little unique because of my background. So I also have I have been very interested in personal development. So I bring in a lot of personal development tools. I also have a degree in something called Healing Touch, which is energy work, and it's working with the body's energy system, which a lot of times we don't talk about. You know, you have the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system. The energy system is like like if you go to a chiropractor or somebody who does acupuncture, they work with the meridians and the energy points. They're called chakras. Anyways, so I bring a lot of different pieces in from all those different pieces of my background and try to make it as special for you guys as possible. Things that's helped me. And Angel says, not coming. I'm not sure what that means. Let me know what you mean. Like to help. Okay. I wonder if you're not seeing me for some reason. It says, I'm going to tell her to refresh her screen. Maybe she's not seeing me. Is everybody else here who can see me? So, okay. So everybody else hearing me, we have, okay. Thank you, Heather. Thank you. I think sometimes this forum is a little crazy. Hopefully there's not a lot of other problems. So thank you for letting me know. I appreciate letting me know. Anyways, we're going to get started and I'm going to be sharing my screen on and off. So hopefully this will go smoothly. I know in our last support group, we had some issues and that's why we're moving platforms to Zoom. But in the process, we're going to do what we can. And I love you guys and we're going to make this as special as possible. So the very first thing I have, thank you guys. Thank you for telling me. I appreciate it. Also, I want to also say before we start, just kind of a housekeeping thing. A lot of you come from different facilities and are needing support groups in order for a qualification to have bariatric surgery. And we have lots and lots of programs. I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 programs that I send attendance to every single month in order to make sure that your facility knows that you attended this. I will be sending that off next week. I always allow a week for replays and things like that. So just know that your attendance is being recorded. If you are on this call, your attendance is being recorded. And if you are associated with a bariatric surgery program that gets our attendance, I promise you they will get it. It will be next week. And so just want to kind of let you know. So support groups, I always send attendance. Okay. Hey there, Dorothy. Hey, Jay. So glad you guys are here too as well. Okay. Thanks, Heather. Okay. Okay. Whoops. I'm going to share my screen here, guys. Okay. And I'll be jumping back and forth because once I share my screen, I can't always see comments. So the first thing here I have is habit changers, tools to transform. And so I am just going to kind of go ahead and kind of going up. The things we're going to talk about today is full awareness, how to become keenly aware of what your habits are and how to change them, and how to identify triggers and what the rewards are. I actually made a whole support group on that topic. I'm shortening it and condensing it, and I'm trying to give you the most information I can about being aware. And so we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about tools. And some of these may be a little bit different than what you're used to hearing about, especially in the bariatric surgery world. But I promise you they're extremely helpful and have made a night and day difference for a lot of people. For me, myself, as far as making changes, affirmations, EFT tapping, distraction, engagement, and then we're going to be talking about reminders, and then how to reinforce your change. I'm going to stop sharing because I just want to make sure that I need to look at comments and just make sure everybody's still hearing me and seeing the screen and was able to see the slides. Can you guys let me know if you were able to see the slides whenever I was sharing those? Just a little something to let me know. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Angela. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and go back. Thank you, Cassandra. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Nancy. Thank you, Tamia. Oh my gosh, you guys are great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back. And then we're going to go to the handout one more time here. Okay. So the very first thing is becoming really fully aware of a habit. And so what you're going to want to do is identify the change you want to see. Now that seems pretty darn obvious. And I know this beginning of the year, when we make New Year's resolutions, some people do, some people don't. I have mixed feelings about it, but for myself, I just wanted to see some changes this year. And some of the things that I wanted to implement was things that I could actually have control over. For example, I knew I could have control over how much protein I ate. So I was wanting to eat more protein. Knew I could have control over how much water I drank, and also maybe tracking and physical activity. Those were 4 things that I kind of was looking at my habits. Okay. And so I kind of wrote those down, and I made it my goal in a month to reevaluate. Okay. So number 2, your why. Why did I want to change? Why did I want to make a change? Well, I am about 10 years post-op VSG, sleep gastrectomy, and I've held off most of my weight. I've really stayed the same for about 5 years, but I feel like maybe I would like a little bit of extra weight off, or just feel more peace with my body. And so I thought, more peace with my body might be just being more mindful about my choices and what I'm doing, and just feeling better about maybe some of the foods that I'm eating and things like that. So for me, it was about my physical health. Okay. I wanted to see the scale go back a little bit. I also wanted to just feel like I was making better choices. So that's kind of like my thinking, my emotions, feeling a little better about that. And also, I feel like it bleeds over to every single part of your life. Whenever you start having a change, desire to change, let's say you want to change something about your eating, and you want to change, maybe just say it's something simple like the protein, for example. And the reason I wanted to do that is maybe to lose a little weight. And so what you're going to find is when you start implementing change, it also affects other parts of your life. Maybe it affects your career, because you're going to have to be making subtle changes whenever you're at work. Maybe making sure that you're bringing food along, or those decisions. Somehow that just bleeds over it bleeds over to every area of your life. Okay, so just being aware and how that can affect a different thing, because everything's energy. So when you're affecting one area of your life, you're also possibly affecting another. The third thing here is triggers. So triggers, things that cause you to physically, like consciously or unconsciously, things that come up whenever you try to make a change. Okay, let's say you're wanting to change a habit. Let's say we'll go back to the protein. You're wanting to eat more protein, and you start off your day and you have good intentions, but then you didn't pack your lunch. Maybe you don't have good food choices at your house. Maybe you just don't have a lot of things that are ready and easily available. Maybe there's stuff in your freezer. I'm a good example of that. I live on a farm, so we have lots and lots of frozen food. We have deer meat, we have beef, we have chicken, but it's not always meal prepped and cooked. So, what I found is that I started trying to make changes, and then I would find that I wasn't maybe doing something that I felt like I should be doing, and it was triggering something inside me, and I would start feeling anxious, like, oh gosh, I don't have this, or I don't have that, to make the decision to change. And so the best thing that I found is with that is basically like reevaluating every day, like looking at those triggers, looking at the things that come up. Maybe it's things in your environment. Maybe you have, Easter just ended. A lot of times people will have a lot of candy sitting everywhere. So maybe there's a lot of candy sitting out, and that makes it hard. I know that's a trigger for me. I'm a big candy lover. I love chocolate. Or maybe there's people in your environment. Maybe you're cooking for your family and you feel like they need a separate type of meal than you do. Okay. Maybe you're feeling like your kids need a different menu and your husband needs a different menu, and it makes it feel overwhelming. Or maybe there's an emotional component. Maybe you feel like it's not even, like you start trying and then you feel like it's not even worth trying because you don't know if it's even making a difference. So these are things that come up. Need for approval. Like maybe you feel like you need somebody else's permission, or maybe you need help, like a dietitian or your doctor, your bariatric doctor. Maybe you feel like you need somebody to help you. And so when these triggers come up, the thing is reevaluate daily, and just pivot and make small changes. Don't beat yourself up. Take a deep breath and just do that. So the big thing is reward. So number 4, sometimes we give ourselves rewards, and food can be that reward. Okay. And what I mean by that is maybe we're feeling bored, or maybe we're feeling anxious, or maybe we're feeling nervous, and we feel it in our body. I don't know if any of you guys took the emotional eating course that we just did, and that was all about, it was me and Rodolfo Alvarez. He's a coach, and we were talking about, how emotions trigger us, and how we eat for different reasons, and how to feel that in your body and really recognize it. Maybe we want to emphasize something. I hate using the word sabotage, but sometimes we do things because we want to emphasize that we're not good enough to be a certain size, or be a certain weight, or be a certain type of person that we think we'd like to be. And so we emphasize that lack, or that sense of mistrust, that we're not trusting the world to give us what we want. So we're emphasizing that. I'm going to stop sharing and kind of go back just to make sure you guys are following me. Okay. Okay, I'm so sorry, Angel, that it had a bad experience. I'm not sure what happened there. Angel is on speaker. Yeah, I think she must be having, she must have had technical problems. I'll follow up with her one-on-one. If anybody else is having problems, please let me know. I'm so sorry that she experienced that. Is everybody else following me? Does anybody else have anything to say so far about where we're at? How are you guys doing? Let me know. Okay, Michelle says, all good. Thank you, Michelle. Jason, thank you. Good here. You guys follow me? All good? Is this making sense? I mean, are you guys kind of resonating with any of this? Is it like have you ever tried to make a change? I'm asking you, have you tried? And what has came up for you? Have you had any of these things come up for you whenever you were trying to make a change? I know for me, it was an eye opener. Me says, yes, I love you talk about triggers. Jason says, yes. Amy says, yes, makes sense. Leisha says, yes. Michelle says, sometimes that can be tricky. I know I have had trouble in the past and I had to go up on a couple times. Yes, you're right. And that's why we're moving. We're moving to Zoom because I don't want anybody to feel frustrated, and I want everybody to get the info. So hopefully it's better. Bo says, yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to, Chris says, retired professional counselor. So Chris, what I'm talking about, don't you? Yes. Mom says, yes, always trying. And you're right, constantly reevaluating. Yes. So that's what I found was probably one of the biggest helpers for me, was to kind of like really just take in and reevaluate where I was at and where I was making changes and where the changes weren't sticking, because it can take a little while. So we're going to talk about how to make them stick a little better, how to make the changes be to actually come into fruition and to have a little leverage on them. Okay, some things that's helped me. And I want you guys to comment too as we go through this. If you have had found that things that have helped you, because this is a support group I'd love to support, and I want you guys to support each other too as well. So the first thing we're going to talk about is affirmations. Have you guys heard of affirmations? Let me know. There's another word too, it's called mantras. Affirmations are more like short phrases that emphasize intention, whereas mantras are like words, like short little words that kind of emphasize something. For example, an affirmation may be, I am healthy, I am happy, I am free. it's better to use an affirmation in the I am phrase because you're actually affirming that you already are there as opposed to you're working towards getting there. And there's a big difference in that. There's a big gap in energy there. There's a big gap in if you're already there versus if you're trying to get there. Now, sometimes when you say an affirmation, and I'm going to give you some examples, I have a whole handout on affirmations that I found that it's helped me. I'm going to share that here with you in a moment. But what I found is if you can't truly feel, because it's about bringing that emotion up when you're saying an affirmation and feeling it in your body and saying it as if it is, sometimes you can say, I am working at, or I know it's possible, or I know I can get there kind of thing, because you want to feel good about it. But if you feel like it's too big of a jump to say, I am healthy whenever you don't feel healthy, you can say, I know it's possible to be healthy. I know that I trust my path and I know that it's possible. So that's the kind of thing we're going to be talking about with affirmations. EFT tapping. Have you guys heard of that? EFT tapping is emotional freedom technique, which helps to neutralize triggers and change response. So it's a technique that uses tapping on certain points of the face or body, and they're on the meridians that I talked about earlier. And what it does is it helps to kind of send a message to your body. I believe that every cell in your body has consciousness that is able to communicate, that knows. And so that communication that you're having with your body is actually informing it of something. And we'll talk about that. Number 3 is distractions and engagement. So kind of moving from an old habit to enlist a new one. And we're going to talk about food swaps there, okay? And then the last one, and I have a handout for that as well. So I have a handout on affirmations, EFT tapping, food swaps, and then about reminders, little reminders to give yourself that you can change. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing before we go on to the next one, and I'm going to check in, see where we're at. Okay. Tina says, is there a way to get some of these reminders emailed or something to print if we want to post somewhere to help reevaluate? Absolutely. We changed websites this week, and as we changed, my handouts disappeared on the website. I'm going to double check. I emailed my support team right before I came on this call, and I asked them if they could add them on there. I'm going to see if they're added yet. They're still working on that, but I'll show you how to get there. I'll show you how to find those. So typically, all of our handouts, and they should be on there soon, within the next day or two. And actually, I can email, well, I have to have links. So tap back on our website. I'm going to show you where you can find these. So if you go to the Procure Health website, this is what it's going to look like. Like I said, we just changed sites. I'll copy this link and I'll show you. Right over here under About Us, this first one is Support Group Handouts. And it will be at the bottom of this screen, okay? I have lots of other handouts here. Some of them are actually on here because some of them I've used for other, but they're going to be like down here at the bottom because I added them about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. So they're going to be down here at the bottom. Stop sharing. Okay. Yes, there is. There's a link here at the bottom. It says Support Group Handouts, and I put the link to our website, but the handouts aren't up yet. They may be up by the time we get done with this presentation, if Erin's able to get all that underway, but they were changing so many things. So yes, just go to our Procare website and keep checking, but they will be there hopefully within the next few days. I'll kind of keep checking with Erin. I'll write myself a note. Keep checking with her to get those on there. She was going to try to get them on there while we were on this presentation. but they should be on there very soon on our ProCare site. So they will be under the About Us tab. Let's see, they were under the About Us and then support group handouts. So I'll write that on here. About Us tab, and then support group handouts. We are changing so many things here at ProCare. We're wanting everything to be the best it can. And this last week has been super crazy because we're updating our entire website and we're making things even better. So yes, I should just take down this. If that link is not working to the support group handouts, we'll just hide that so that nobody else is confused. Sorry about that, guys. And let's see if there's another comment. Okay, Jade says, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to show you what the affirmation handout looks like. First of all, actually, let's go to the slides first to kind of keep on track, and then we will move over to the handout. So affirmations. And this here on the presentation, the link is going to need to be updated because we have, like I said, we're changing websites. So I'll make sure and try to get that updated as well. But all of them should be there together, all the handouts, once we get them downloaded. So the very first thing is identify whatever fear. Maybe it's I'm going to gain all my weight back, or maybe I'm going to be a failure like I've done in the past, or maybe the weight isn't coming off as quickly as it is. So whenever you feel, how you know that a fear is coming up is when all at once your energy drops. You feel your emotions move from a high state to a low state, meaning like from happiness or connectedness or peace or freedom feeling or bliss or whatever, down to something that feels not so good. Like, how does that feel in your body? You can tell when something's off. And so when you notice it, what you can do is you can use, let's say it's a lack of confidence. Okay, I'm going to give you some examples. And I'm so glad you mentioned using these with kids because, you know, if we could teach our kids some of these things when they're young and give them tools to move. I also do coach. I have a coaching degree too. I didn't mention that, life coaching. And I work with kids quite often. I actually worked with kids with anxiety and kids that weren't even able to go to school because they had so much anxiety. And what I found is if you can like help a child heal, it is so amazing because it has such a ripple effect. It has a ripple effect on how they're able to do in school. It has a ripple effect on their teachers. It has a ripple effect on their grandparents. It has a ripple effect on their siblings. It has a ripple effect on friendships. So many ripples. Help children, such a wonderful thing. Help each other. This first one here. So we're going to give you some examples. So maybe you have a lack of confidence versus feeling confident. So maybe if you're telling yourself, there's no way I'll be able to do that, maybe you could move to, I am confident in the decisions I make. Okay. Maybe if you're saying like self-sabotage versus telling yourself the truth, maybe you're saying, I don't know that I will be able to follow through on what it takes to be able to make these changes. You're just not sure. You're not confident on yourself. And so maybe you just say, I am true to myself. Okay. Mistrust versus trust. So maybe you say, I don't believe that I'm able to make the changes necessary versus saying all things are possible. So I'm going to stop sharing, check in, and then I'm going to show you a handout that I have on affirmations. Okay. Denise says, I go through those changes since my procedure 2 months ago, and I try to turn around to a positive thought. Yes. And you know, the good thing is, the big thing is it's hard because we tell ourselves that we have to be positive all the time. And I've done that a lot my whole life. And the thing is sometimes we're just not. We can't lie to ourselves. If something comes up, if something comes up really strongly for any of us, for myself, I know it's something that matters to me. And, changing that around can be night and day difference. And it's just in the moment. You don't have to look at tomorrow or the next day or whenever. It's about doing it, catching it, when it happens in lessening it. Like, let's say that feeling that you're having, that emotion is really strong. It's like a 10 and you feel terrible. Um, that's different than an emotion that's like a 2 that you barely feel. And the reason I bring this up is because those emotions that are 10s, that are 8s, that are 9s are actually life challenges that are kind of, I say, serving our life purpose. Because if something really matters to you, it's something that really matters to you. It's something that you're here to look at, to evaluate, and to change. The thing about emotions, when you feel a low emotion, it's telling you that that's not a truth. There's something not true about that statement within you. So if you're telling yourself, I'm not worthy, and you feel really bad, you know that there's a signal that it's, something is. So we're going to go to the handout here real quick. Oh, thank you. Yes, so true. So true. Okay. Okay, here's our handout on affirmations. This is probably hard to read if you're on like a small computer or you're on a cell phone, but I'll read some of them, and just know this handout will be available, I promise you guys, soon, soon, soon. Hopefully this week, maybe even before we get off this call. But here's some affirmations on health. I am confident in my judgments and decisions I make. I understand that that food fuels my body. I am true to myself. I feel free to be myself in whatever circumstance. The universe is friendly and I am supported in everything I do. Now, to me, that sentence that I just said is actually, to me, that's an Einstein sentence. Like, Einstein is I think he's the one that came up with that affirmation. I don't know. I've seen it posted online under quotes and things, but I feel like that's probably the most important thing, at least for myself, to feel that the world is friendly and that you're supported in everything you do. Because regardless of what happens, we view things sometimes as negative or positive. We view things as being bad or good. But are they? Are they? If the universe is supporting you, are they bad? Are they good? There shouldn't be any judgment. It's just is. And so if we would take away things being bad or good, some of the hardest things that's happened to me, like whenever our program was closing for a short period of time because of COVID, I thought this is like one of the worst things in the world. But there was so many amazing things that came through. This being one of them. Now I'm able to devote time to doing support groups full time and to be able to be around people that are like-minded and loving in this community. So you just never know. You see things as being so immediate, and sometimes it's hard to see the full picture. But there's the universe, the world is supporting you in everything you do, whether you call it God or whoever, whatever your spiritual beliefs or non-beliefs are. Just even knowing that there's a higher part of you that's watching you and is helping you. Affirmations on life. So I am loved and I am lovable. I am protected in every moment. I am supported in everything I do. Affirmations on finance. I am blessed with continual feelings of feeling blessed. I brighten my room as I walk in. I am comfortable between creative activities. Just money comes to me in many forms. So these are just things to repeat to yourself. And again, if something doesn't feel quite resonant with you, you can tweak it a little bit to make it resonate with yourself and to help you feel like you can move into a higher version of that emotion and that feeling, because that's what you're creating in your next day and your next day. There's some on home, some on relationships. So I'm going to stop sharing there and kind of go back and see what you guys have to say about all this. Alicia says, very true. Yeah. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to say about affirmations? Have you guys used affirmations? It sounds like several of you have had good benefits about that. The next thing we're going to be talking about, share my screen again. I am going to go to the presentation again. We're going to talk about EFT tapping, okay? And it's called emotional freedom technique. So what you're doing is you're freeing the emotions that are causing you any kind of pain, discomfort, suffering. I want to say something here. You know, we go through life and we have things that pop up. There's nothing that says that you have to stay in that stage for any period of time. There's nothing that says you have to stay in pain for a full day. There's nothing that says you have to stay in pain for a week or a month. I know there was a lady that I was working with a little while back as a life coach, a patient, and her daughter had died of suicide, and it had been 20 or 30 years past. She lived through that emotion almost every day. She didn't have, she just had a hard time getting through that. And so she was in pain and she was struggling, and she had a lot of physical things that came along with that. And I feel like a lot of times our emotions do trigger physical responses in our body. And so what I just want to say is there's no reason you have to stay there, guys. If you're dealing with something that's very painful or hard, you don't have to stay there very long. If you need support, get you some support. Find somebody who can help you. Maybe it's a behavioral health specialist, a counselor, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's maybe it's just being around a friend. You know, sometimes it's talking to a friend, or maybe it's coming to things like this. But find people who can help you, because you don't have to be in pain. You don't have to struggle. You know, the good thing is I will say, you know, if you went through life without any pain, without any challenges, you would never grow. When we get comfortable, we don't step out of our comfort zone, and we don't do anything else. So look at those experiences as something that it's helping you grow, and it's helping you to be more of the person that you want to be, helping you recognize something within yourself that you want to change. So this EFT is basically just becoming aware of whatever the trigger point is. Okay. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to find whatever it is. You know, we talked about affirmations and we talked about those statements. Then I'm going to call it the negative statement. But again, instead of judging it, just say a statement that kind of causes you a lower feeling in your body, or it makes you not feel so good, and you find that it's strong for you. Okay. I'd say more than a 3 or 4 is usually something, because if something doesn't matter to you, why would you want to have to change it? It doesn't matter. It's not something you have to neutralize. Okay. And what this is I'm going to tell you. So what we're doing here is we're taking an emotion and we're putting it into a point called, I'm going to call it 0 point. Have you guys ever heard that term? 0 point. 0 point is no emotion, no feeling, no nothing. And that's the point of just being at peace. Okay. Being at peace with something. And that's what I think a lot of us are looking for when we're looking for, maybe we think we're looking for just that physical losing weight, but there's a lot more attached to that. Maybe it's feeling just at peace with our bodies, feeling at peace with our emotions, with food, feeling at peace. So becoming aware of what it is that you're wanting to change and your body's response to it. How does it make you feel? Okay. Taking a deep breath, just looking at it, taking a deep breath and rating that feeling on a 1 to 10. Number 3 is tapping using a finger or thumb on a meridian point. Now, these points here, you can see it's not like any kind of major signs, guys. You know, there's 2 of them right here in front of the eyebrow. There's not anything that you can feel to tell that you're in the right place. Use your intuition, your guidance, okay? And there's probably thousands of points in our body. I believe each cell coming in and out of it has energy. So you could actually probably tap anywhere. Some points may give you a little bit higher access because those meridians, those energy centers lead to other energy centers. There's probably lots of things. You could probably Google this and find other EFT points. For simplicity reasons, I just kind of named a few of them here. So there's some right here on each side of the eyebrow. There's one here on the top of the head. There's some on the sides of the eye, under the eye, right here under the nose, right here on the middle of the chin. You could do your collarbones. You could do under your arms. There's some right here like here and here on your hands. Um, Whatever you feel drawn to. You don't have to use every one of these points. You could just use a few of them, you know. And what you want to do is tap that. And as you tap it, slow your breathing. Okay, take a deep breath, let it out. Say the intended affirmation of whatever it is. You know how we talked about whatever you're wanting to change versus what you're wanting to move into. And then continually repeat. So maybe it's something simple like, I know it's possible for me to change. I know I can change. I know I can be healthy. I know I can be happy. I know I'm supported. You could do something like that. Or you can say the same ones. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for just a second, kind of move into here to the chat box. Okay. Mia says, I really like the ones you just read. Yes. I hope some of them resonated. You know, not everything resonates with everybody. I made my own list. Just wanted to share. Jay says, I can certainly add affirmations into my daily routine. And we're going to talk about making yourself reminders. You know, you can write them down on a piece of paper, put them in your car, put them on your computer, put them in front of your mirror. Dorothy says, does anybody else get discouraged when they don't lose the weight like they think that you should? Dorothy, I don't think you're alone. I think that's a common thing. A lot of times it's so easy to compare ourselves to other people too, because we see all these other people, especially when you look at social media, you look at other people in the weight loss program. Literally, I saw thousands of people whenever I was coordinator role. And you know what made me realize? A lot of people feel the same way that you do. A lot of people. Amaya says, that's true for me. It's been a little hard, but my husband is there to help and encourage me. It does help to have support, guys. You don't have to have support, but it does help because it kind of encourages you. It brings up that vibe we were talking about, that influences that vibe. It says, I used affirmations with my 2 little girls, saying positive things about herself once in the morning, once at night. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, that's so sweet. Almost makes me teary-eyed because kids need to hear that. They need to hear good things about themselves. Yes, I love this too. And Heather says, affirmations have always been hard for me. I'm still fighting self-doubt. You know, find things that resonate with you. Like self-doubt. Maybe I know it's possible to trust myself. I know that there are ways out there that I can find. I know if I give myself time that I can find my path. Dorothy says, I thought I lost more than I did. Yeah, it's not about beating yourself up, but it's about recognizing that causes you pain. It's about recognizing that and then finding a way to feel better about it. You know, you don't have to change today, but you can make slow progress towards it so that you don't have to feel that way lifelong, Dorothy. Hey guys, I'm going to go on to the next. I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, and next we're going to talk about distraction. So we're going to talk about food swaps and food swaps that taste so good. So I actually did a whole live event on this that was an hour long. So I do have a whole full handout on food swaps, which I want to share with you. And that is recorded on our YouTube channel. You can look for it there as well. ProCare Health is going to be we've been putting all of our replays on YouTube under the ProCare Health YouTube channel. I'll show you that here in a moment. I'm afraid to switch around too much because sometimes it kind of causes delays and stuff here, but I'll try to show you that towards the end here. Write myself a note. And you can find that recording on food swaps, the whole presentation. But I also have a handout, okay, which I'm going to share with you and that you'll be able to access once we get those up on the website. So like things like rice for cauliflower rice or spaghetti for spaghetti squash. So making like little swaps to kind of distract you from feelings. Or say you're wanting chocolate, instead of eating like milk chocolate that has a lot of sugar, maybe you eat a darker chocolate, or maybe you eat sugar-free pudding that's chocolate, or maybe you eat a protein shake that has chocolate. Does that make sense? So it's about finding a way to kind of distract yourself from something. Another form of distraction might be, if you're finding that in the evening times that you're eating a lot. And that's one of my bad habits. I'm not going to lie. I do great usually during the day. It's just at night. I like to snack. And so it's about recognizing that. And once you recognize it, like finding little swaps. Like maybe it's going, summertime is a great time for me because I love gardening and I've been going out and spending time in the garden. It gets me away from the couch and from the TV. Maybe if you like doing arts and crafts, I know I just ordered a bunch of paint and I'm wanting to do some watercolors. So I've been doing watercolor tutorials. Just things like that, guys. Anybody else have any other suggestions? I'm going to kind of go back, stop sharing my screen, go back. Okay. Yes, I agree. I started doing affirmations because we lost their father over a year ago. Oh, their father, I'm sure, is with you all and blessing you all every day. But I know that must be very, very hard. I know that has to be hard. So I'm sorry for your loss. And it sounds like you're sticking together to try to just bring things through. Dorothy says, I'm trying to have major foot surgery next week. No walking for 3 months. I have, even wanting Smarties, and I've been telling myself no. So maybe you could find something else that's kind of sweet. I know I've heard people say, I know fruit is one of those things, it does have sweetness to it. And the more that you eat certain types of fruits and vegetables, you kind of like start actually craving them. So maybe it's finding something else that's sweet. Heather says, I use ice if I find myself wanting a crunchy snack. Oh, I love that. I'm going to use that. I got my water here. It's making me remember to drink water too. Tania says, I wanted to have a Starbucks iced coffee so bad. Oh, I couldn't find a swap. Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's on our food swaps. Let me show you here. And actually, I did a whole presentation on lattes. It's on our that website page here. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you, first of all, on the support group page, under recipes right here, there's a latte swap. Oh, the page isn't found because everything is not refreshed and saved, but just know that we'll be updating that. There's a whole presentation on latte swaps. I also want to show you here. I'm afraid if I switch screens too much, I'm going to go back and then share again. I know we need these handouts. It's sad. Because I'm a Starbucks fan too. I like Starbucks. The other thing here I'm going to show on the food swaps. Food swaps that taste so good. So I'm going to swap up mayo for mustard. So instead of maybe ordering a tall, maybe order a venti, smaller one, and you can save 100 calories. Or maybe like what I like to do is actually and I don't know what kind of Starbucks drink you like, but you can also just order a regular coffee or decaf. I order half and half. And then sometimes I'll bring along protein powder. You can add in protein powder, kind of gives you a little milky taste. So just a little hint there. Okay, so that handout will be available along with all the others. And I'll copy here and paste all the handouts that we're going to be having. Well, we have a couple more, so I'm going to wait. So going back, we're getting close to time, so I'm trying to be really careful on time here, guys. We are going to the handout. Okay, so reminders. We're going to talk about reminders here real quick. So reminders to support a change. So maybe it's just remembering to eat healthy, remembering you could put an affirmation on your refrigerator, remembering that that you have goals, that there's something that you want to just remind yourself. Sticky notes are a great way on your refrigerator, on your mirror, your dresser, can be on your computer, can be on a place that you're at just often. But you need to change them out because sometimes you just get used to seeing it there and then it doesn't seem like a reminder anymore. Phone reminders. I'm looking for my phone. I actually have reminders set on my phone that pop up frequently. I know on Bariatric app, I'll repeat that again, app, they have a reminders theme, and I have little affirmations that pop up. Also, there is an affirmation reminder app that will send you affirmations during the day that pop up on your phone, which is kind of cool. It's free. I downloaded that too as well. So reinforce that change. So let's prepare for slip ups. Let go of an all or nothing mindset. You don't have to be perfect every day, guys. Remind yourself in the evening, maybe just do a little reminder in the evening about like looking at your day. It can be super easy, a 1 minute little shift and just saying, okay, what went well today? What things would I like to change tomorrow? And how can I do that? And be patient with yourself. Take a deep breath. It's about progress over perfection, and just show up for yourself over and over. They call it the slide edge, just doing a little bit. Soon you're moving from one pattern to the next. So slow down to go fast. Slow down to go fast, and remember that that you are important, that you being here is a wonderful gift to this world, and that you being here on this call is a wonderful gift to all of us, and showing up for yourself because you're making changes. Enlist support when needed. So we talked about this earlier, support like friends or family or counselors or the bariatric community like this one. And also remember how far you've come. There's things that you've combated. Remember, it's possible to overcome that mindset that you've had. It's only a thought. It's only an emotion. It's not who you are. It's only a thought. It's only an emotion. It's not who you are, you guys. Remember that. And you can change that. Those are changeable, okay? Be honest with yourself and explore your habits and be open to being curious, about being changed. One other handout that I will have for you is the habit trackers. And the habit trackers here, guys, are the first one is like an example. So how often do we start making a change? These habit trackers, I think I have 3 of them, but you could print them off or you can just use them as a template to use regular paper. You don't have to use mine, but just kind of give you an example. Like if you're wanting to track or a calendar, you can buy a calendar and track on your calendar. Like let's say your goal is walking and you're wanting to start walking 30 minutes, 5 days a week. That first week may go super well. Every day you're hitting it hard, you're going at it, you hit your goal, you did all 5 days. And then the next week you're kind of a little tired and maybe your kids are doing sports and you're busy, or maybe you're working a little more hours that week, or maybe there's some events that week that kind of keep you from like doing all 5 days. So you do 2 days. Then you start feeling a little frustrated at yourself. Maybe you're feeling like a little bit of a failure. The next week you step in and you only do 1 day. Okay. The thing is about being like changing that mindset and saying, what was the reason that I started doing this? I don't have to be perfect. Maybe my goal is 5 days. Maybe I need to change that to 3 days or maybe 4 days. Maybe I need to start setting my shoes out at night. Maybe I need to start walking 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at noon, 5 minutes in the evening to make up 15 minutes, or maybe 10 minutes each to make up 30 minutes a day. Like look and see what that means. So consistency and persistency, and then continue tracking. Like look at what that is, because it sometimes takes a little while for habits to change. And remembering too, it's about just showing up, guys. We don't always feel like doing everything we want to do. It's just about showing up. I'm going to stop sharing there for just a second, kind of check in with you guys. Okay, Mia says, I do that at home with the skinny syrups, but I've never tried the protein shake, and that's a great idea. Yes. Heather says, for sweet, I do a half a cup of heavy cream, 1 tablespoon sugar-free cheesecake pudding mix. I forgot about pudding mix, sugar-free pudding mix. That's a great suggestion. And the coffee, sugar-free coffee creamers are all in the coffee section, usually at like Walmart or someplace. Great suggestion. Dorothy says, good. Mia says, I need that tracker just to keep me motivated. Yes, I made it for myself initially because I thought I told you at the beginning of the year, I wanted to change some things. Heather says, Pinterest also has printable meal trackers, goal trackers, and weight and habit trackers. So, having it in front of you gives you incentive. Is anybody else like a checkmark kind of person? You guys are going to laugh at me. This is my to-do list for today. Sometimes I just put it on there just to be able to check it off. I mean, that's the kind of person I am. Is anybody else like that? You just like to check it off, check it off. Okay, I'm getting my drink of water. Okay, so we're almost done here, guys. I got just a little bit here to share with you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to show you these trackers. Yes, somebody else says they're a huge check box checker. It's great. So here's what your trackers look like. The first one is just an example, and then there's some other ones here, and they're set up by 5 days. If you wanted a 7-day, you could do a calendar, a regular calendar, or you could make your own. I made these off of not Pinterest, Canva, C-A-N-V-A, Canva. So easy peasy. So habit 1, habit 2, and habit 3. I'm going to stop sharing there, and I am going to go back to the presentation for just a hot minute. And we'll do a little recap. Oops, that was this. Okay. Here we go. So summary. So identification of your habit first, like become aware of what it is you want to change. Know your why. Why do you want to change? Why is it important? Because if it's not important, you're not going to want to change. And if you find yourself like you implement a change and you reevaluate it a month and you haven't changed, you have to ask yourself, was that important to you? Was it important? Maybe it's not important. Also, know your triggers. Know why you consider the result to be a reward. Okay. So take a deep breath. Going on. Next, tools for transforming. We had the mindfulness and intention, which was affirmations. We had the EFT tapping. We had the food swaps, and we had reminders. And then reinforce the change, okay? Prepare for slip-ups, enforce and listen change, support when you need it, and remember how far you've come. Use the habit trackers, use the calendar, use something to keep you going. Use friend, a family to help keep you consistent, and be the change you want to see. So we have that, and I'm going to kind of list here, I'm going to my support group. I am looking here in my notes to be able to find you. I'm going to copy. Okay. So what you're going to be looking for is habit changers. And then I'll have the presentation. I'll have affirmations. I have the food swaps. And the trackers. All of those handouts will be yours coming soon on that website. So watch for them. I promise you. I'm so sorry they're not there yet. You know how it is when you're changing. When you're changing. You just got to go with the flow. I also promised you I would show you our YouTube channel. So I'm actually going to click onto that and show you there. And I'll give you the link for that as well here in just a second here. So our YouTube channel is called ProCare Health Vitamins and Supplements. Pasting the link for our YouTube channel. That was it, but I'll put it there with YouTube so you can tell. Let me share my screen. I'll show you what that looks like. Subscribe because you can see all of our replays. We have tons of replays. I'll show you some other fun stuff there too. So here's our ProCare Health YouTube channel. We only have 81 subscribers. So let's get that number up. Like I said, I've been adding them. We just haven't been advertising any of this. So any of the events that we've done in the past are all on here. So like literally like hundreds of videos, guys, hundreds of videos. We also have different playlists that you can kind of go to. So our live events that we do every week are listed under playlist, under live events, and there's a whole list of those there. We also have our support groups. There's 85 of the live topics. There's 21 of the support groups. Some of the ones I talked about. Also, just one-on-one with me. I have a whole playlist there of There's 16 videos of different things, such as how do I know the vitamins I'm taking to save? How about our probiotic multivitamin, methylfolate? What form of vitamin should I take? There's just all different kinds of questions, kind of a frequently asked question space there. And then we also have a recipes that I'm not going to play that. But we have a whole list of, I think it's 11 recipes. We rented an Airbnb and we did recipes. So anyways, that's what that is. I'm going to stop sharing. Join us there. I'd love to have you guys. And oh, I love that you're subscribed to our page. Yay! Our number just went up. It looks like I hope I'm saying your name right. Such a pretty name. I do give myself rewards, like money to save for new clothes and lose weight so I can treat myself on shopping. Oh, I do like that because there is a good incentive, a reward other than food. Oh, Jason, thank you for subscribing. And guys, we are right at time. I just want to give a plug out to all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I want to tell you I appreciate so much all of you. Check back, continue to check back on our ProCare website. I'm copying the link right now. We'll also be listing all of our upcoming events. We're working on the page right now because we're moving away from Crowdcast next month. All of our events will be listed on that page somewhere, okay? Every upcoming event, like our upcoming events, and then our replays will all be on YouTube. That's how we'll be working out. Thanks, Jason. I'll be sending attendance for all you attendance goers to your facilities. I want to give a plug out. What ProCare is mainly known for is our quality vitamins, 1 a day, get you through. And we also have protein powders, we have calcium supplements, all kinds of good stuff. So go on there and check it out. But thanks, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And love you guys. If there's anything, any topics that you're looking for, put them in the chat box. Even if the event's over, I'll be watching that. And thank you for saying you enjoyed the class. I hope it was helpful. I know I enjoyed making it. I try to pick topics that mean something to me because I feel like I'm in the same boat as you guys. I'm moving through life as well. So have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. And we will see you back next week. I'm taking a week off. Maybe I'll go live. Who knows? I'm going to the WLSFA conference. Anybody else going to be there? It's in New Orleans. And what WLSFA does, ProCare is sponsoring their event. They give grants to patients that want to have bariatric surgery, okay, that can't afford it. They do so many grants a year, so they raise money for this. I will link the website too. It's WLSFA.org. You can find about their conference. I think the registration is still open if you're interested in checking it out. If not, but that's where I will be next week. So the next event will be soon. It'll be the week after. And so until then, take care, guys, and have a great weekend.